Hey, Soul Warriors. Have you ever looked yourself in the mirror and asked, who am I really? This is a question that haunts many of us, but today we're delving into the value of self-exploration. This is where you're transforming living every day in a place of dread to living your dreams. This isn't just a video, it's the beginning of your journey towards self-discovery. This is a journey that truly changed my life, so I know it can change yours too. I mean, we start out in childhood where we're not really formed yet and we're figuring out who we are, going through all these new experiences, meeting all these new people, and then going into the institution called school, if you went to that. And then you start realizing like, hey, who am I even? I have all these beliefs piled up on top of me, all these I shoulds and I shouldn'ts, and this is right and this is wrong, and you're this and you're that. And I don't even know who I am anymore. I've done all the things. I've showed up. I've built the life like I was taught, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not fulfilled. So who the hell am I? I know when I started questioning this with myself, it was little things at first. It was like getting the promotion for the first time at the job, and all of a sudden you're in the big executive meetings and you're like, whoa, who am I even? Do I belong here? I've been in, worker bee mode for most of my life, taught to, work hard and listen and do what you're told. And so this is a new experience. And then I did it and I got through it. And I was like, okay, building a little bit of confidence. And then the next big thing comes on and I'm like, So this can happen a lot if you're a little unsure of yourself, if you're in a new experience. And a lot of times it usually happens when you feel like you hit a wall. Because maybe things are looking pretty good. You've got the house, you've got the job, you have the relationship or the kids, and you're like, I'm just not feeling full inside. Who am I? This is when you stop recognizing who you are anymore. Like you thought you knew, but now you know you don't know in here. And I know with me, I just kept saying, I want to get back to myself again, but I didn't really know who that was. So this is what started my whole exploration into spirituality, into figuring out, what lights me up and what really makes me tick and who I wanted to be. I started to realize I could be whoever I wanted to be. And that was a really foreign place because we're not taught to think for ourselves. We're taught to conform, follow the norm, fall in line. So this can feel really, bigger than ourselves. And then we start to feel small. And we were not born to be small. We are huge, energetic, magnetic beings walking around in these bodies on this earth game. Socrates once said that to know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. And what do we all want? We want to be more wise. We want to be more, influential to ourselves and the world around us so that we can manifest what we want, create the life of our dreams. So how do you get to know yourself? The first place I started was dropping masks. And that was a hard one. You start looking at all the masks of, I'm the daughter, I'm the worker, I'm the mom, I'm the neighbor, all the masks we were taught to put on and what that's supposed to look like. And we played that role, we played that game well. We embraced that mask, so much so that we thought it was us until it didn't work for us anymore. And it's hard to put down masks. I know this firsthand because people expect a certain you. And when you start changing, it makes them uncomfortable. They don't even realize how uncomfortable you are starting to, put on these new shoes of who you really are. So this is a time where you're going to be putting them on and you're going to be taking them back off. And, I'm being the daughter like I was taught. And now I'm taking it off and I'm going to be the daughter that I want to be. I'm putting it on at work and I'm trying to fit into the box. And then I'm like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm recognizing it. I'm catching myself and I'm taking it back off. So at the beginning, this is like the early stages of spiritual awakening. And actually, I did a video on the 5 stages of spiritual awakening. I will link it above in case you want to find out what stage you're at and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling right now. Because all this different ranges of emotions is perfectly normal. Just want you to know that. If you're feeling unsure, if you're feeling unconfident, if you're falling on and off the bus of figuring out who you are and who you want to be, that's normal. It's great. Keep going. This is just a whole process of figuring out what works for you and what doesn't. This is when you get to decide and really tap into your body, feel into your heart, listen to what your mind is saying to figure out, are you in harmony or are you in discord? Is something that you just said in harmony with your being? Or is it creating these waves of like, I shouldn't have just said that. I don't know why I said that. That's not me. I don't know how many times we've had actions happen, gone through experiences and been like, why did that go that way? And then we start looking at our behavior. We realize, hopefully, eventually, that a lot of these are just routine subconscious behaviors that are going on. So good news, we can change them. So after you start catching yourself with those masks and figuring out what you're putting on, even if it's just the mask of I'm okay, that's a huge one. Or what can I do for you? I'm here to help. Being the people pleaser. This is where we start to compromise over and over again who we are. Back in the beginning, we were just running off of programs. Now we're actually compromising as we're falling back into those programs. How are you showing up for you instead of showing up for everybody else all the time? And I know this can be hard at the beginning. People are like, yeah, I'm trying to work on self-care. You just do self-care. Self-care is something that needs to become your priority. And how we do this is realizing we already know how to people please. We just need to people please ourselves. We're already successful at all the things that we need to do. You know how brave it is to put on that mask and to continue to wear it, even though it's squeezing your soul, even though it's making you feel totally uncomfortable. We put those masks on with the greatest of ease and just show up as all these other selves. And it's not to say that these selves don't serve us. A lot of pieces and parts of this, that's where we can pick and choose. Like that self at work, that's not really comfortable when I'm showing up. But I have leadership. I'm going to take that and I'm going to keep that piece. I have confidence when I show up there and do my job. I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to bring it home with me. I'm going to bring it back to me, back to where I feel like I'm at home in my body again. So as you realize that you've built up this entire illusion of yourself, it can get really scary. Because you're like, again, who am I really? What am I? And this is where you can really lean into your spirituality and find some comfort knowing that you are a spiritual being in this physical body right now. You know who you are. You're part of all that is. If you're into spirituality, you understand, whoever your God is or the universe or whatever it is that you feel is that bigger thing that you're a part of all that is. And that is just beyond, it's bigger, it's amazing, and it just feels like all encompassing. That's you. You are a fragment of that all that is in this meat suit that we're walking around in. I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast. So if you truly understand the vastness of all that is, then you can understand that there's vastness in you, even if it's not feeling like it at this moment. So how do we do this? The thing is that it's different for all of us. So I'm going to go through a bunch of different things and then you can just pick and choose like it's a menu. Try different things on or try all of them. And every little action that you take starts walking you home a little bit more to who you are and will start filling you up a little bit more. This is a journey of ups and downs. This is life. You will never, ever truly know who you are because you are changing in every single moment. Every new experience, every second is different. So every version of you is different. You're constantly evolving. So there is no real one true you, the one that you're looking for, except being part of all that is. So one big tool you can use is starting to befriend yourself, figuring out all those masks, all those parts of you, and calling them like a counsel and actually speaking to them like you would a friend, like you would a parent, like you would somebody you truly cared about. So this is where you start building more and more of that self-love, more and more of that self-honoring. And how can you show up for yourself so that you can show up for your world and create what you're really truly looking for? A good example of this is when you meet a new person. You don't expect to know them within the first afternoon of spending time with them, within your first conversation. You don't know every nuance of them. You don't know all of their likes and dislikes. You don't know what's truly important to them. Maybe little things, but that builds over time. So it's the same with yourself. So please try to stay out of the frustrated part. Even though, you'll go there, but catch yourself, pull yourself back out and be like, hey, I'm building this whole relationship. And there is no more important relationship on this planet than the one with yourself, because that's where everything is sourced. Once you realize this, then you stop blocking your blessings. You start settling for the bottom of your blessings, because previously, with all these masks on and all these beliefs on top of you and all these programs running in the background for you, you are only seeing limits for yourself. You're like, okay, I've made this much money. I've had this kind of relationship. I'd like the relationship to maybe be here now, or this much money, a little bit more than I was making. We can't truly see all that there is out there for us. We have blinders on from the small perception of what we've lived so far. So we have no idea. And this is when surrendering to the universe truly comes into play, where you're opening up your heart, you're opening up your mind. Like, I am ready for new things. I am ready to download feeling and embodying the powerful being that I am on this planet. Another good tool is not to dwell in what is wrong. When you identify something that maybe you don't like that you did or you said, or something inside of you that's not feeling worthy or that you don't really like about yourself, identify it and then start looking for evidence of what you are looking for. If you're like, I kind of wussed out in that conversation a little bit. I wish I had done it a little bit differently. Okay, I did that. I'm not going to beat myself up on it. I am going to take action. Can I call the person and say, hey, I was thinking about, what I said when we were just talking, and this one thing kind of hit me, and I didn't really mean it the way that I said it. So can I just clarify or get it out? Or I wanted to explain a little bit more. If you can. If not, this is where you practice your bless and release it. I recognized it. I've decided I'm not going to act that way anymore, and I don't want to be that way anymore. So I'm going to remember this so that next time I can catch myself and I can do different. This isn't always about doing better. It's about doing different and trying on different versions of you until you feel what's comfortable in your skin, until you understand how it feels in your body to live from your values, to pause before you speak, to actually think, hey, is this really true? Is this true for me? Or is this just an old program running? You can catch yourself in seconds and pivot what you were saying. You can always hey, I just screwed up. I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Can we have a do-over? And this is great because it puts people not on the defensive because you're getting defensive because of your behavior. Because a lot of times you'll know when you go into this hurt place because you're going into excuses. You're going into defending yourself. This is where you get to, kind of be open and recognize that, yeah, hey, I just fucked up right there. So can we start over? And it makes other people react to you different. Oh my God, this person realized what they did. Well, that thing that they always do that is just so frustrating. It helps put you on a new level, not only with yourself, but with those around you. A third tool is looking at the stories that you're telling to other people, and especially the ones that you're telling in your head. And then look at, why is that story so important to me? Why do I keep beating that drum? Get really curious about it. This isn't like, oh, I'm going into that story again, or, ugh, I just went through all that, feeling that emotional pain again, feeling that shame, that embarrassment, whatever it is, re-injuring yourself by really dwelling in that pain. So how can we get back into harmony? It's taking a look at it, like just as an observer, like you're watching a movie. You don't have to be like, why did I just do that? It can be like, whoa, okay, I just slipped into story again. Is it truly that important? Okay, no, it's just a hurt thing. So how can I start walking out of that? What story is better? Like, what story do I want to tell about that? Or do I want to tell that story at all? And then truly asking, like we said a few minutes ago, is that story really true? Am I adding stuff to it? Am I adding the hurt and the emotions onto it? If I strip it back to the basics, what does the story look like? So then you can move on and keep reminding yourself of what the basics of the story are instead of all that stuff piled on top of it. And as you're sifting through all the feelings and the thoughts and the actions that don't align with who you've decided that you want to be, with what's truly important to you, you'll start to get answers. Because this comes from sitting with yourself. So notice when you're distracting yourself, just having a Netflix marathon, just to kind of avoid sitting with you. Maybe when you're picking up that drink or you're grabbing the cell phone for the 100th time just to mindlessly scroll. Because when you're doing all those things, you can't truly hear what's going on in here. So you can't make different decisions. You can't stop the patterns from happening so you can start creating new ones, new neural pathways. You can't really truly feel the emotions. So the more you keep asking, who am I, the more you realize that you cannot heal the pain that you refuse to feel. Let me say that again. You cannot heal the pain that you refuse to feel. And feeling just doesn't mean that like, yeah, I'm angry, or yeah, I'm hurt, or yeah, I'm, fill in the blank, and I'm letting it out, or I'm bottling it up. I'm feeling it. I mean, feeling it where it's flowing through you, where it's allowing that energy to come out of your body, to remove itself from your energy field so that you can move forward in a clear manner, so that you're not consistently re-injuring yourself. This may look like professional support. This may look like meditation. This may look like breath work. This may mean that you need to like dance it out and move your body. May mean you need to have a conversation, or all of the above. Meditation really has been great for me because I notice that when I sit alone with my thoughts, my mind starts going. The thoughts start racing. The story gets epic. So I learned transcendental meditation back in 2020, and they taught us that like our thoughts in our daily life are like the waves on the ocean. They can be really turbulent or just really small, but they're constantly moving, and it's bumpy, and it's noisy. And when you do the meditation, you kind of start to sink down into the water, and the depths of the water is calm, and it's peaceful, and it's serene, and it's constant. And that's the feeling we're all looking for. So I was taught through this whole course that allowing those thoughts to just play out in my mind, because I thought I was doing meditation wrong, because I was never achieving that Zen peaceful place, because I was constantly trying to stop the emotions and stop the thoughts and just, zen out. And I'm like, why won't it stop? Well, it wouldn't stop because I had all of that stuff trapped still in my being. So the more I sat with it as an observer, like I'm watching a movie, and just gently bringing myself back, in TM, it's a mantra. It could be bringing back to your breath, just realizing when you're going into story. And some days I didn't realize it. Like I went down the rabbit hole and it just played out. And after the whole 20 minutes, I was like, oh my God, I've been in story on that topic the entire time. But that's okay. The next time I did a meditation, maybe it would keep playing out epically for like a few days or weeks, depending on how deep it is in my system. But eventually it started calming down and going away. And I would have these really beautiful, deep meditations where it might come up for a second and then just flitter away like it was nothing. And that is the point of why, yoga, meditation, this is all called a practice, because the more you practice it, just like, working out, the stronger you get, the better it gets, the easier things get. So stick with some of these tools, even when it gets hard, even when it feels like nothing is happening or things you don't want to happen are happening. Keep going. Go through the uncomfortableness. Check in with somebody. get a coach. That's what Wolf and I do. And Wolf is not here, by the way, because she is healing from a surgery. So if you have any extra healing vibes, send them out her way. She should be back in another week or two. Forgot to mention that at the top. But this is, when you reach out for the support that you need to help walk you through these things, if you feel like you're getting stuck yourself. And I also want to remind you that other people's perception of you is not really you. And our perception of us isn't really ourselves either, because those are built on everybody else's perceptions reflecting back to us. Like, oh, they all think I'm helpful. They all think I'm smart. They all think I'm, fill in the blank. And so that must be who I am. And because I like those things, that's who I am. I don't like those things, so I'm not owning them. But maybe those are parts of who you are too. Who knows? You don't know unless you really start self-reflecting and go through that exploration process. Remember what you see on TV, what you're seeing on social medias. Those are all highlight reels of people. Comparing yourself to those, it's not helpful. It's not real. That's not truth. You know what is truth in your being, and comparing yourself to those things hurts your being, and you can feel that deep inside of you. So understand, just remind yourself, if you start going into the comparison game, that's not real. Or if you start taking on, like the parent who always said something to you when you were a kid and taking that on as your identity, like, nope, that's not really true. That was their opinion because they were hurt and they were reflecting that onto me. This is where you get to choose, and you get to decide in every moment who you are and who you want to be and how you show up. I just want to remind you that you are doing better than you think you are, and you're closer than you think you are. You are more capable than you think you are. And the more you do this work, the more you spend time with you and you get to know, honor, and respect yourself, the more you build that trust, the more answers that you seek will begin to show up in your life. We all just want to feel loved and seen and safe and heard. So how do you show up for yourself to provide that? Think of how you would show up for a best friend to make sure that they felt all those things, that they had the space to be them, the space to be seen and heard and loved by you. And then do the same for yourself. You owe that to yourself, and that's how you find out who you really are. That's how you get to the core of your true identity. Understand that you are involved in this constant game of hide and seek. Your emotions will hide from you. Your thoughts will hide from you. You will seek the answers. You'll feel like you get it for a little while, and then you feel like you don't know anything. Completely normal. Your brain is trying to adapt. Your emotional system is trying to adapt to whatever this new thing you're doing. And your old subconscious and the ego is showing up really strong, being like, nope, this is how we do things. This is how we've always done it. That's safe. And it's not safe. It's what you know. But it's not safe because it re-injures yourself. And that's exactly the opposite of where you want to be. You don't want to get up every day in dread, having to feel the same old feelings, do the same old things, think the same old thoughts. You want more. You have dreams that you want to accomplish and you want to live. So please show up for yourself in every way that you possibly can, and give yourself that platform to remember and to step more and more into who you choose to be every day. Because in every single moment, you are a new you, and you can be whoever you want to be. All right, have a great day. Like, subscribe, comment, and let me know what was your biggest takeaway from the video. Have a wonderful day. Peace. Be kind.